Hello, everyone. Welcome back to yet another political episode. So, today we got news. The Biden administration has hit Russia with new sanctions on probably the most stupidest reason ever. And this, once again, points at the issue of national security, an issue that Democrats themselves don't want to focus on. And here they think that, elections can be rigged. Elections can be, other countries can collide with different candidates to make them win. And ever since this Russia collusion hoax, which is a hoax, that we know Russia didn't at all collide with the said Trump campaign to help him win. We know that didn't happen. The Democrats are so egotistical, they don't even want to admit that they lost. They cannot. They're so arrogant and so just prideful that they cannot admit or humble themselves a bit and said, hey, we lost. And even though they won the popular vote, but hey, you know what? The Electoral College, it wasn't a good night for them. But ever since the 2016 election, we've been talking about Russian collusion. And since 2020, we're talking about Russia collusion again. And now what seems to be an effort to guarantee Russia to step back. And here's the funny thing. Russia is like scratching its head like, why am I getting sanctioned? Now, the reason why Russia is being said sanctioned is they're being accused of manipulating U.S. public opinion. And you could go as far as making that argument, but just to go and sanction Russia because of that, this is what the neocons. This is another neocon scam. Okay, and this is what the Democrats will do in order to contain their power. The Democrats will not only violate the rights of American people and the rights of, as you know, their political opponents, but they will go ahead and attack countries for no reason, like Russia, which honestly did nothing this time to deserve sanctions. Russia has been sanctioned due to the war of Ukraine and its recent human rights abuse record, but this is probably the first time Russia is being sanctioned in regards to something that isn't done militarily or isn't done in involving dehumanization. This happens to involve the Russian people having a word in edgewise, speaking a word of edgewise, and now we have the Democrats going out and saying, "Oh, you're trying to manipulate the American people." Let's remember that Vladimir Putin endorsed Joe Biden. He endorsed Joe Biden. He said that Joe Biden would be more better. Now, honestly, this is Joe Biden's. My opinion, Vladimir Putin's tactic in keeping Biden in for 4 more years, because he knows that if Trump happened to win the election of 2024, that Trump's not going to tolerate that Ukraine war going on for much longer. Putin needs time. Putin needs another 4 years. So, of course, he's going to applaud and support the administration that is not going to, that he doesn't deem a threat. Because he's intimidated by Trump. We know that. Because if he wasn't intimidated by Donald Trump, he wouldn't have invaded a country. He hasn't invaded not one country during the Trump administration. Not one country. Putin invaded Georgia in 2008 under the Bush administration. Putin invaded Ukraine for the first time in 2015, 2014, kind of have a hard time remembering what year that was. Under Barack Obama. Barack Obama was the king of drone strikes. He took out Muammar Gaddafi, the mad dog of the Middle East, one of the most brutalist probably the most brutalist African dictator in world history. He took that dictator out, and he was in the process of getting rid of Assad. And Vladimir Putin has the urge to go and invade another country. I'm not afraid of Barack Obama. I'm going to invade a country. But Donald Trump, who has zero political experience, a businessman, Putin's suddenly afraid of him. Putin doesn't want to invade. He actually halts Ukraine operations and says, hang on. We're going to wait. And we're going to we will talk with Trump and kind of wait for him to get out. Then Joe Biden comes in. What happens when Joe Biden gets in? Big invasion of Ukraine. And this is obviously pretty obvious that the reason why it's not because Vladimir Putin thinks Biden is more smarter than Donald Trump, and we know that's false. It's because Joe Biden's more incompetent than Donald Trump. In his mind, Joe Biden is less than a threat than Donald Trump. So really, Putin wants the leader that's going to be the weakest leader to win in the United States. And that's what you have to do with your political opponents. You got to root always for the weakest leader, despite what politics he or she may believe. So, yeah, so it's not looking good at all for said Kamala Harris, because Donald Trump's chances are rising, despite poll results, as you know, saying Kamala Harris is going to win a 3.15% win in the popular vote. And you know what? This is still the best Donald Trump's ever done, because Donald Trump was supposed to lose to Biden by 10. Donald Trump was supposed to lose to Hillary Clinton by 15. And now, out of the blue, out of the sudden, Donald Trump is losing to Kamala Harris by 3? It's like we jumped 8 points ahead. Donald Trump is as popular as ever. And the funny thing is, the Democrats care less about it. And Polymarket knows it. Polymarket, I have a feeling, even though I think some polls are obviously biased, you'll see Donald Trump's chances, I wouldn't say have skyrocketed, but they've always been in the middle. You'll see 53% chance in winning this election. So, and in regards to percentage-wise, Donald Trump's chances in winning, I would say in Georgia, indefinitely. This is the current map situation. We took back Arizona, according to RCP average. Georgia, unfortunately, is still for Kamala Harris. I think that's BS. Georgia going to Kamala Harris before Arizona, that's just ridiculous. And reason being, Georgia is, as you know, a state with the black population, where the black population is going to determine the outcome of the election. But then again, I've made it clear in other videos, Kamala Harris needs black men and black women to work together. Yes, she's getting a lot of black women in Georgia, and that's probably why we're seeing Kamala Harris winning some polls in Georgia. But in order to win the state at large, you need the black female and black male vote to work together in the Democrat Party. You need that to work together. Sort of how that did in 2020. You'll see black men and black women, they worked together to get Trump out, and they barely won Georgia. Yeah, they're not going to win much, and that's expected. But what we're seeing right now is black men are divided. Just in general, gender, like I said, are divided. Men, they are defecting to Republicans. They are going to Trump. Why are they going for Trump? Because the Democratic Party is becoming more feminine. Basically, now we got a feminist label on the Democrat Party, and the feminist label is Kamala Harris. Okay, Kamala Harris has basically turned into this Beyonce, Taylor Swift, all these Gen Z women are excited about Kamala Harris, and it appeared that all this momentum we're feeling here, it's the young Gen Z woman. It's not just Gen Z woman; it's just women in general. But what they're not telling us is we have men, Gen Z men. They're going for Trump because then again, it's not. A lot of Gen Z men voted for Biden because the Democratic Party was genderless, right? But now you got a female candidate, which men can be a little skeptical about. There's certain things that the women like about Kamala Harris, and there's a lot of things that men don't like about Kamala Harris. And they'll go ahead and say there's a lot of things that men like about Donald Trump. There's a lot of things that women don't like about Donald Trump. And this is the state of the race. It's going to be determined by gender. So this is how I think it's going to go. Arizona, well, I've always been skeptical with Arizona. Donald Trump has a 60% chance in winning the state, and yeah, 61%. And you guys can make a bet yourself. Just as you know, go to Poly Market. 60 cents. It's only 60 cents. Well, I think you can double the amount if you. So I encourage you, because this is also the chance. Yeah, it is a front we need to, in this case, be concerned about. So yes, you'll see Kamala Harris has, it seems ever since, like late August, Trump took back the lead because realistically, you got two states, Wisconsin, Arizona, and Georgia. Okay, these are states that Joe Biden ended up winning barely. His 81 million votes barely could win these states. And I could say right now, Georgia goes Republican. Donald Trump pretty much guaranteed to get 250. Okay? And I would say ideally Trump, I would expect, would get a Rust Belt state. And I would say go ahead and give Wisconsin. I would be super surprised if Donald Trump didn't get a Rust Belt state at all, and that Kamala Harris goes ahead and wins Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. I would be very surprised. That would be a horrible scenario. But let's just say Kamala Harris overperforms in expectations with the Rust Belt. We actually thought, you know what, auto workers, industrial workers, they're not going to be in so much favor for Kamala Harris. Well, apparently that is wrong now. And you'll see Kamala Harris wins Michigan and Pennsylvania, and Trump mildly wins with Wisconsin. Guess what? It's not the end of the world. All we got to do is win Arizona, and guess what? Trump wins. Because looking at 2020, this is the easiest path to victory. Everyone says, oh, go to Georgia, go to North Carolina, go to Pennsylvania, we win the election. No, here's the problem with that, though, because Pennsylvania voted for Joe Biden by 1.17. 1.17. I want to believe 80,000 more votes for Biden. And yeah, it's just it's really ridiculous. Like, in order to win, we got to start off with the easiest states. So start easy, and honestly, we'll probably stay easy, because going to the results, you'll see Georgia, 11,779 votes. We just got to gain flip these amount of votes. We just need to gain these amount of votes, 11,000 votes, and we win the state of Georgia. We got to look at Arizona. Okay, we got to get 10,000 votes. If we do that, we win Arizona. And then Wisconsin, 20,000 votes. If we do that, we win Wisconsin and we win the election. It's more easier than they think, because Republicans, turnout wise, this is how it usually goes. In elections, especially when the incumbent administration is doing somewhat sort of bad, every state tends to trend a certain direction. Take 2012, for example. 2012, we saw like pretty much every state trend to the right, despite Mitt Romney failing to carry key swing states like Florida and Virginia and Ohio. Okay, these states were obviously won by Barack Obama, but that didn't mean they didn't trend right. Okay, so how did Obama perform in 2008? Okay, Obama performed 2.8% of the popular vote in Florida. Okay, 2.8%. And you'll see Romney ended up pushed Obama from 2.8 Okay, I'm looking for the actual number. Okay, look, it says right here. Nonetheless, Obama's margin of victory decreased substantially from 2.81% in 2008, and his percentage of the vote decreased from 50.91%. Okay? And his percentage number, despite despite Tampa having been the site of the 2012 Republican National Convention. And that's the thing. Usually, when you have a state with to have a convention, we had Wisconsin. That's where we had the convention. Typically and usually, it's not guaranteed, but usually when you have a convention at a certain state, that state is probably going to go to your direction, right? Because in 2020, Democrats had their convention in Milwaukee. Well, guess what? As a result, Biden won Wisconsin. Now, I can't say the same for Florida in this case. You'll see Barack Obama won Florida this time. I think for a while, Republicans, Mitt Romney, thought they were going to carry it. But then again, that didn't mean that Republicans and Mitt Romney didn't do good, because take this number, 50. Taking this number minus, all right, 0.88. That is insane. So how much a shift? Look shift-wise, 2008, we saw a let's see. I want to know how the shift goes. I haven't done this math before, so if I'm doing it wrong. So yes, 2.81 minus 0.88. Okay? The shift was 1.93. A 1.93 shift to the right in 2012. Okay? That was a 1-point shift. Okay? 1%. So in total, in other words, Romney gained around almost 2 points 2 percentage points, I want to believe, of said Republicans that originally or didn't vote at all. So 2012, he gained back 2% of voters. Now, looking back at, in this case, 2020, 2%. All we gotta do, guys, I can guarantee you we will do it, but all we gotta do is crank back the 0.23. We just need to gain 0.23% more in Georgia, 0.31% more in Arizona, 0.63% more in Wisconsin. So I'm not surprised Trump's betting odds are all the way up. Because in great reality, and I'm telling you, polls, they really don't matter. Why do the polls matter? Like, seriously, it's the Electoral College. Wisconsin, it's just pathetic what we're seeing in Wisconsin right now. 57%, 56%. And I do think in the end, I think it's not going to look like that. 56% chance you go to Democrat. Really? I don't think so. I really doubt that Wisconsin is going to go blue, and Pennsylvania is going to go Republican before that, and Michigan is going to go Republican before Wisconsin. No, because polls have shown, the polls have proven multiple times that Wisconsin polls are just skewed. Biden was supposed to win 8.1%. Where was his 8.1%? Where was it? Instead, he got a 0.60% of a popular vote win. That's not 8-point win. 2016, go to 2016 polling. Yes, it was polling likely Democrat, leaning Democrat, tilting Democrat. Yeah, it was getting closer by election day, but Democrats were still winning. And here you got Donald Trump winning this election by, I don't know, 0.77% of the popular vote. That is literally almost 1 percentage point. 1 percentage point. And you're saying that every single channel here, even Fox News, was saying, oh, Hillary Clinton's going to do pretty well in Wisconsin. I don't blame them, because 2012, you'll see Barack Obama handily defeated Mitt Romney in Wisconsin. Yeah, but the thing is, the GOP was different back then compared to the GOP right now. You'll see. By taking back, here's another example: Wisconsin landslide scenario for 2008. Barack Obama swept the state of Wisconsin in a landslide, and you'll see it went from, so like solid states, you don't have to win the state, but ideally and realistically. So this is 13.91% of the popular vote. 2012, yes, he won a 64% margin of victory. So what we're going to do, take the number 13.91, and we're going to subtract 6.94, and you're going to see, okay, that didn't work. We got a percentage sign in there, that's why. 6.97% shift to the right, okay? That was a 6-point shift from the Obama wave. 4 years later, that's Wisconsin. It trended more to the left. Compared to, in this case, it shifted even more, shifted over 6 points in 2016. So Wisconsin has been shifting rightward to the right in 2016, 2012, 2008. It shifted to the left because you'll see a pretty close race in Wisconsin. It shifted to the left dramatically, but to be honest, in all due respect, things weren't good for Republicans in 2008. They didn't have the narrative on their side. Democrats had the issues like the economy. Democrats had the issues when it comes to like housing crisis. There was a Great Recession. Everyone blamed the Republicans for the Great Recession, the housing crisis. And you would think, okay, seeing the current state of the situation right now, you would think, yeah, there's no way Republicans are going to win. Like, I would say there's no way Wisconsin's going to trend more right. Like, what did we do to gain more Republicans to trend more right in Wisconsin? So as a result of backlash, and you'll see a huge leftward shift. And this was the same deal in 2020 because Wisconsin shifted left, but not by much. It shifted left by 1 percentage point. 1 percentage point. And maybe it's because we are getting more polarized, and the Democrats will jump up and down and will say, oh, maybe it'll shift 1 percentage point back to the right. But then again, here's the thing, guys. Trump still wins Wisconsin. Because I'm not saying, I'm not saying Trump's going to get 6 points in Wisconsin. No, I think that's ridiculous. I think he's going to gain 1 point. But I definitely think he's going to gain back that 0.60%. He's going to probably shift Wisconsin to the right by, I would say, 0.60% to the right. So that is something to keep in mind. So yes, ideally, this is far from over, guys. We are in a great situation. I don't care what the polls say, and who knows? I'm hoping by October we get the electoral college back, and if we don't, guess what? If we don't, that's fine. Because we need to trust the data from the previous election. Because what's more accurate? Data that is taken by 1% of the population in the United States, or data taken by an official poll, the most important poll in the country 4 years ago from the previous election, and how it changes now. What's more important? So yes, the polls say it's going to look like this. Well, that doesn't mean it's going to be like it. And just because I have this as for my September forecast or my October forecast doesn't mean Kamala Harris is going to win Georgia before Pennsylvania. It doesn't. That's a forecast. A forecast is different than a presidential election, because I guarantee you this forecast is wrong. This is wrong. It's not going to look like this. Absolutely not. No, it's not. Because auto workers, Trump is doing great with auto workers. And what it's looking like right now, it's debatable. Trump could win all 3 auto workers states, like you have Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania. Or you'll see Trump just wins 1 auto worker state, and that's Wisconsin, Rust Belt state. Or Trump just wins Pennsylvania and Wisconsin. So it's a 50-50, a tight battle when it comes to the auto worker vote. But a tight battle would involve 1 state going for 1 state in the Rust Belt going for Trump. And I would say Wisconsin, because that's the most moderate state. And that's the most likely state to pick up. Like, literally, the people that think, it's going to look like this, Michigan has a higher chance of going Republican than Wisconsin. Come on. Let's see what Polymarket says. Because the betting odds, and here's the thing, what's the percent of people that take the Polymarket betting odds? 59%. Okay? 59%, 57%. Okay, fair enough. Because I can guarantee, but I've seen it many times, guys. Kamala Harris was polling more to win Wisconsin than Michigan. So, yes, this is what it currently looks like. Donald Trump looks like he's polling to win Pennsylvania, 54% of the popular vote. No, not the popular vote, 54% chance. You got a close lead, a close race in Nevada. But what do you guys think in regards to our two topics today? Just complete Democrat disarray. And they're not going to say we're doomed, because here's the thing: Republicans will openly admit we're screwed. We're screwed because you don't know how much dooming I've seen from Republicans after the midterms. We're screwed. Well, to be fair, the Democrats did admit they were screwed after the debate. But here's the thing: very little Democrats admitted that. We hereby surrender a Trump presidency. If you were a true Democrat, you would never do that. And if the Democrat Party was filled with doomsday Democrats, like we have so many doomsday Republicans here in the GOP, Joe Biden would still be in the race. But no, the whole party, including Barack Obama, turned on Biden. They do not give up. That means we shouldn't either. We shouldn't either. And the odds are on our side. The numbers from the most important data from 4 years ago is on our side. The most important data. Trump almost won. And it doesn't matter if he lost the popular vote by 3 points. I don't care. The popular vote, it's not surrounded by the popular vote. It's surrounded by the Electoral College. That's what really matters. So whatever the popular vote, the polls say, like right here, well, this isn't the 2020 page, but if it says Kamala Harris wins by 3, in popular vote, oh well, because all that matters is trying to swing and gain, and I can guarantee you we will bring some voters back. You'll see 0.63%. We just need to trend more to the right. Bring it more to the right. And after all Joe Biden has done for, I don't know, 4 years? Like day one, why wouldn't you trend to the right? I mean, you trended to the left because of Trump derangement in 2020. You even trended to the right in 2012 by 6 points over Obama. What did Obama do? Obama didn't get us into a recession crisis. Obama was controversial, though. Obama was super progressive, but the country wasn't in a recession. In fact, I would say the Great Recession was over. I'm giving Obama the benefit of the doubt, believe it or not. I'm not trying to, but I'm making a point. The thing is, it doesn't matter if you're in a good situation or a bad situation. The fact you're at 0.63% and you're in office is not a good sign. It's not a good sign for you in the next election. Because let's just say Biden should be concerned. He won Wisconsin barely, 0.63%. If he would run for re-election, he should continuously look at his previous results of 4 years ago and say, hey, look, the fact I won 0.63%, I'm an incumbent in office, people are judging me, people have second thoughts about me, there's a huge chance that number is going to trend back right. And being 0.63%, that is not a lot. That is not a lot. That's going to be super easy for Trump. Gain 0.63% more. Donald Trump wins the election. Period. And that's in Wisconsin. That's in Arizona. And that is in Georgia. And it's done. Donald Trump, in my opinion, has a 70% chance, because I can guarantee you a lot of these people do not realize the 2020 data. They just probably got involved into politics now. Politics is just a recent phase of theirs, of a recent hobby, a recent interest. Well, guess what? I've been in politics for 6 years, and when I've been through the 2020 election, I've studied the 2020 election, I've done predictions of the 2020 election. I was wrong, of course, but you know what? I'm learning from that experience. I've learned stuff. Even in the midterms, I've learned stuff that I didn't consider. And especially the 2020 election really does help saying, hey, look, these results in Wisconsin, Georgia, and Arizona, they help us in a future election. This really helps us. So what do you guys think in regards to the current state of the race? Let me know down below. And as always, I'll see you all in the next political episode.